Yeah.
Welcome everybody to everyone's favorite part of the day, the lightning talks. I have a bit of a cold, so never mind my voice. The talks will be 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes there's 2 minutes for questions, and during those questions the next speaker will set up his laptop, if he needs a laptop that is. So first Enrico and the crazy Brazilian guys, as you'd like to call them, will start. Next up is PlanEDU, and after that Dylan J, so get ready in line when you're being called.
Hello, good afternoon. We are representing here the plum.gov.br community. As you know, we love Plum. Okay, Brazil is the country of Plum. Okay, even though most of us don't speak English, so it's kind of, never know. But we are here to talk to you about something, trying to sell something. What about a Plum conference in a sunny place? I think it's great. Okay, we're planning to present our bid for the next Plum conference in Brasilia. Actually, that's sad, but they have 200 Plum developers. It's a trade-off, you know. That's the point. I think we have one guy that lives in Brasilia in here, Marcio Maza. Everyone else hates Brasilia. But that's the point. We go there, we help them, that's okay. So, what we are planning is to piggyback our conference on Python Brazil, the Brazilian PyCon. Next year, we are aiming for at least 400 Python developers. So we will be able to save some souls of Django. Because, you know, people right now, these days, they are kind of, yeah, I know Django. You know Django is written on Python? Python? I know Django. And stuff like that, we will be able to save some people. That picture is from last year. Alan is somewhere in there. Jim Fulton is somewhere in there. They can vouch for us. Alex Limi already went to Brazil. We had a lot of good people there, except for 99% of the guys in here. And it's going to be a family-enabled conference because most of us right now have kids. For instance, we are inviting you to bring your family. In some cases like Miko, where's Miko? Miko, you can find a family there. We would love to have you there. Alessandro Pisa, don't even think about it. Okay. This place is a 30 or 40 minutes drive from Brasilia, so you bring your family while you're in the conference. They are going to this place and have a nice time. Also, we know everybody says, yeah, going to Brazil, it's so fucking expensive. So, where's Paul? Paul? Okay, Paul's not here, but Paul is the designated consultant for travel costs. He already is there. He found a cheap flight to Brazil. He's going to fill with Plumistas. And also, one thing we're planning to do is we need you to go there. We need you to help us to integrate our local community. So we are slashing registration costs. Why is that? Okay, it's 350 euros to be here. With that amount of money, you spend 2 weeks in the Brazil Northeast, beaches and nice place. You can go there. But that way, we fuck Plum Foundation because Plum Foundation gets a cut of the registration costs. So we are planning to have a conference paid with sponsorship, and a great deal of these sponsorships are coming straight to the Plum Foundation. And of course, we expect you there. These two guys love the city, went sailing and drinking and eating churrasco all the time, and they can vouch for us. And we have, what? They were not drunk on this photo, not yet. The drunk photos are not allowed in here. Oh, fuck. And we are open for questions, please, if you have some. Either way, you can vote for us. Hey guy, what's your name, sir? Hello, Nate. Actually, this is something we're planning to. The conference will be in
Do you
Brasilia.
have the sprints on the beach?
The conference will be in Brasilia. We're planning to have sprints after that in a place called João Pessoa. It's an amazing place. I don't have a picture in here because it would be so fucking depressing. I showed some people last year at Plum Conference. They were kind of, don't do that. You know, there's a cheap hotel on the beach, really on the beach, on the sand. It's fucking easy for us to move everybody there. Of course, the people we like. Nico, you're invited. We love you, even though you complain and say we are old. Questions? Actually, this is something we need volunteers. Okay, if you want to go there and spend like 3 months before the conference helping, that's okay for us. You know, there's internet in the country. We don't have monkeys on the street, so you can go there and travel and have a lot of fun. I know for a fact that Nate is planning to spend a few months there during the winter here. Miko is doing the same. We are trying to get David, but he's always, yeah, I'm planning to do that, but you know, he's a superstar. Everybody's fighting to have him. So you can go there prior to the conference, spend some time, and you know, eventually move there. We would love to have you guys there. Okay, thank you. We expect your votes. If you have any doubts, we have a group of people here. Bye bye.
Nice to meet you.
Next up, talk about PlanEDU, and after that, Dylan J, and after that one, Godfrey.
Hello, everyone. You've probably seen me up here before. Could I ask anyone working in education, whether you're a developer or from a university, to stand up? Come on, get on your feet. So we have been running a PlanEDU conference at Penn State, well, at least one track for education. Thank you very much, by the way. And we have this year, I want to introduce my friend Alexander Lochel from the University of Munich. And what we're asking people for is, this lightning talk is really directed to you, particularly the people that were standing up, because there's strength in numbers when dealing with the direction of Plone, and we found that education has supported the Plone development has been quite essential in that over the years, and we want to continue to grow that community. So we want to give you a quick update on what we've been doing, and urge you, if you were standing and haven't attended and joined into that community, to join us. This year, after 5 years of hosting the Plone Symposium East at Penn State, we're going to move it to the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh, and Kim Nguyen, who is the co-chair of PlanEDU, he's going to be he's going to be hosting that at their university this year, and those dates will be June 2nd through the 9th, 2013. So plans are underway for an exciting event there. So I would hope that you could join us if you're in the Plum community or in working in education particularly. We will also shortly, I will be retiring from the university, thank you, and Kim will be taking over as the chair and be looking for a co-chair for that group. One of the projects that we've been working on is to try to make Plone simpler for education to adopt. We want to see a much larger footprint in the education community, so we're working on some installation and testing things so that people can really, in education, can try out Plone and install it quickly so that they can use it at their own university. We have been holding monthly teleconferences for almost 2 years now. We've been trying to open that up to more people to participate in. So if you would like to participate, we'd really love to have you to get your input on what we can be doing better in the education space. Tomorrow we're going to be having an open spaces session at 3:45 in the balcony room, and we'd like to have you join us. To let you know a little bit more about what is happening in universities in Europe, I'd like to let Alex take a few minutes to talk about what they've been doing.
Thank you, Mike. Well, universities are in some ways one of the special users of Plum. They normally have the larger setups, they have a lot of portals, and they do have only a few persons that handle those sites. And I think it's very necessary that we all on the universities work together, making more networking, showing what we do, how we do it, and how we can avoid mistakes that the other university might do. And for that reason, meetups sometimes is very important. At the Plum conference in Munich, there was the first originally planned track was the meeting of the universities from the German-speaking side. And it was amazing to see it combined with the Plum conference in Munich, and therefore I think we should give some credit to the German or the Munich Plum user group, and maybe especially for Max Jacob, who organized the meetup for the universities. And there will be a second meetup for the German-speaking universities at the PyCon.de, 29th October this year, and probably all the next conferences. So the other thing, we have two open spaces tomorrow for PlanEDU and Plum University. So please show up if you're in a university. Thank you.
Any questions?
None? Your talk was way too clear. Okay, next up is Dylan J, and afterwards Godfra, and after Godfra we have Davide Moreau.
Okay. No, that's not right. Okay, it's just going to have to work like that. Oh, we're exchanged? Sorry, new laptop. Okay. So, you may have seen these, some of this before. I put out a blog post, but the graphs are so cool I thought I'd show it again. So this is slides from PyCon.eu, which I presented a couple of months ago. So for people who don't know me, my name is Dylan J. I part own a company called Preta Web. We're based in Sydney, Australia. We do mostly government stuff. And the SES is the State Emergency Services. So they're the people responsible for tsunamis, earthquakes, storms, but not fires. Well, so they wanted a CMS. They put out an open tender. They wanted multi-site. They wanted it secure. They wanted to theme it themselves. And they didn't want it to fail over in a disaster. In fact, they had a 99.49 reliability. So if you've ever kind of gone into stuff in a little depth, that's about 4.5 minutes a month. It's not a lot. If you're using something like Nagios, your alerts on Nagios are every 5 minutes by default. So you can miss your SLA and not even know it. So this is really important because the Country Fire Authority, there were a few years back, there were some really bad fires in Victoria. A lot of people died. The website was offline. And it's an incredibly, not just embarrassing for the government, but it's a horrible, horrible story, and this stuff should not happen in this day and age. So, you know, people are very concerned about making websites scale. given all this, we still went for the tender anyway. So this is the final website. This isn't about scalability, but it's kind of cool to notice that this was done by them using Diazo. We sent them the diazo.org rules. We said, here's how you upload it. This is before the theme editor, and they went to it and they built this site. So if you're not using Diazo, this is how easy it is. They weren't Plone people. They were HTML and JavaScript people. So our architecture, this is how we normally do things, except we're using a very special hoster that had a chunking big CDN at the top. We use rel storage with master-slave. So what we had is we had geographic redundancy. So I should have a map here, but in Australia, you know, we had 2 different data centers, neither of which is Victoria. So if you had a tsunami hitting Victoria, you know, on one coast, then the other coast is still going to be up. So here's the problem, right? An earthquake is an instantaneous event. So everyone's going to feel that event at exactly the same time. And what happens at that time? They pull out their smartphone and type in earthquake, right? That's the first thing they're going to do. And this SES site is one of the first ones that come up, right? So you're going to have everybody looking at a website at exactly the same time, which is a horrible, horrible thing if you're a website administrator. So the original tender went out saying, you know, we wanted Elastic Cloud. You know, that was how it was going to be solved. And Elastic Cloud, when you think about it, doesn't work for these kind of scenarios because it's going to take a couple of minutes to get an instance to start it. You just don't have that kind of time, and it's not the best way to scale it. So what we did in this instance is we made sure every single website, every single page on that site had a 1-minute cache at least. And if you think about it, that means that if you get 1,000 requests a minute, you only get 1 cent to Plone in the back end, and that makes it very, very scalable. And Plone's caching system makes this very, very easy to do. So the load testing was the interesting part. So we started with funcload and kind of realized pretty quickly that the amount of CPU that it takes to run funcload just is never going to do the traffic that we needed. It's kind of cool though. So then we switched to like SAS-based JMeter, or rather the client started switching to that, and rapidly worked out that, yeah, it's still not going to generate the kind of traffic, particularly as most of the SAS services for doing JMeter are based in the US, so it has to go through, you know, transatlantic pipes, trans-Pacific pipes. And then finally we worked out that the only possible way to do it is get the hoster to do it. So you have to generate a massive amount of traffic from within the same data center. They had to reroute everything back through their firewalls. And the kind of traffic we're talking about here, so this was the scenario that was given to us. This is 840,000 people in 15 minutes. And we did a bit of modeling and said most of it's going to happen in sort of the first 5 minutes. So, and then you're going to get this tail off. Now, when you actually, one of the aspects of the fact that they did their site was the fact it works out to an awful crapload of data. 130,000 requests per second is an awful lot. Yeah, it's like eBay's.com's traffic happening in seconds. So I'm just going to skip to the graph. Yeah, and then we got it tested. So actually an earthquake happened. Which is amazing, right? 2 months after we went live, earthquake happened. This is what it looks like. Interesting, the second dip there, we think that's when the new stuff started hitting Twitter and stuff like that. And here's our response down the bottom, and here's our traffic at the top, so no real difference. And yeah, some of our competitors felt a bit. Questions? Is there a question? I can't see. No? Yep.
Did you document the methods and technologies that you use to get this kind of responsiveness somewhere?
Well, it's a 1-minute cache. That's
the whole idea?
That's the whole idea, yeah. It's a very effective idea.
Awesome.
It's like we thought a lot about all these different things, and we came up with it. It was like, you know, 1-minute cache does it, and 1-minute cache, people don't notice if it's not updated, you know, for 1 minute. So it's very effective. And just, interestingly, when we first did our first load testing, the main CDN wasn't actually working. We didn't realize it was coming through to our secondary case, which is Varnish, and that was handling crap loads of traffic. 2 Varnish cases happen, do a crap load of traffic all by themselves without even this fancy CDN in front. So,
Awesome.
thanks.
So even with Macs, we have problems, right? Used to be Linux privilege, but okay, it's Mac today. Hello, I'm Godefroy Chapelle. I will shortly speak about Collective Jekyll. The main idea behind Collective Jekyll is that quite often when I'm by my users, I am telling them, okay, you should do this, or you should do this, or you should do this, all sort of quality process that is not checked at all by Plum and where they get no feedback. So the main idea of Collective Jekyll is, and it's a first step, and that's why I'm presenting it here, because I think we could improve it a lot. The main idea is to present diagnosis about a piece of content so that the users know, okay, I'm doing something wrong here according to the rules of my site. I'll show one like this. And so what you get is a new button, which is this. Where's the plus? Where is there? Is that better? Is that better? Yes. Okay, sorry. So it adds some information, in this case warning, and it has a list of symptoms, as I call them, where you can just get information. Okay, my title length is okay because the web site manager said I'd rather have short titles. Okay, I'm using the right image size. Whatever. This is pluggable. This is why we have the CA, right? It will be very short. So that's one piece of Collective Jekyll. The second piece is just a view on collections, where you can actually get all those status so that the website administrator can have an idea of what's going on his site. It's not more than this. I'm really happy if people can join me and give me ideas how we could improve this. For now, it's only on GitHub, as I showed first, so I'll put it back. And so you can find it, Gotcha Collective Jekyll. Thank you.
Any questions for Godfrey, maybe?
Excuse me? No, not until now.
How do you define the rule sets? Is that through the Plum or something horrible like ZCML? Please not ZCML.
For now, it's in ZCML. Wait. You configure it through the registry, and yes, obviously, there can be a default set of options. Sorry, that's how it is. Yep. Good. Thank you.
Next up is Davide Moreau, and afterwards we have Domen, and afterwards Patrick Herken.
So, hi, I'm Davide Moro. I come from Tallinn. My company is Redomino. And I'd like to talk about the Plum Cake project. What is Plum Cake? Plum Cake is a Plum distribution that lets you create an out-of-the-box Plum website, internet portal, or collaboration portal. Plum Cake is still Plum. So using Plum Cake, you are still using Plum because Plum Cake is a simple configuration policy that performs some configurations and made available some useful plugins, third-party plugins. All these things are shipped with a unified installer, Linux unified installer, Windows installer, no Mac, unfortunately. And this way you can have a fully configured website with a responsive theme, so a mobile version, easy form generation with Plum4Gen, Lingua Plum if needed, advanced search and tagging support, and now and also I don't remember sorry tabs slideshow support. This way we want to help software selectors in order to help them to evaluate better the full potential of Plum, because sometimes lazy software selection tries WordPress, other softwares, and when they install Plum, they get the front page. So sometimes they don't understand the full potential of Plum. We want also to make available free virtual machines downloads with a full stack Plum installation, LDAP Plum with some content examples, and so on. We take also care for public administration and accessibility needs, because it helps to be compliant with accessibility laws, for example, the Italian Stanca Act, and it provides different high contrast versions. And all the code is, all the project is open source. If you are interested in discover better how, what is Plum Cake, you can visit plumcake.org. This is the logo of the project, and if there are any questions, you may win a sticker. So, any question? No? Okay. Thank you. Okay. One sticker.
We have a question. No, now you're too late.
Yeah, can I have a sticker?
It's very simple. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Domen is up next, and afterwards we have Patrick Gerken and Maurits van Rees will be the last one.
Hi all. First, quick question. Who wrote the pyramid application? Okay, that's like 30%, nice. So Chris McDonough wrote Substance D, which is basically ZOAP 2 implemented on top of pyramid. Of course, it's not ZOAP 2 toolkit completely implemented, but some parts. Basically, as you can see, there is a list of features it supports. It's based on ZODB. It has user and group management system. It has an admin interface similar to ZMI, which is called SDI. It has object level security. It has built-in search catalog. and so on. So let me do a quick demo. Oh, by the way, I worked on this during Google Summer of Code this year to implement some features. Okay. Yeah, live demos as always works. In the meantime, I'll show there is some documentation written about it. It's not released yet, so use it at your own risk. And there's like few production sites already running based on the code. It uses dform as a ZOP library, as a form library, sorry. And as you can see, there is not much documentation. It has this concept of services, which is like similar to the portal underscore something in ZMI. There is workflow support. There is content type support. So hopefully, all right. It's not much to see because it's all about the code. The user interface is not complete, but you have this, for example, similar interface to the ZMI about the database information. There is security tab, which is basically a list of permissions and inherited permissions, and there's properties, as we all know, and there's just the basically 3 content types that are currently implemented. If I quickly show this project structure, so it's a pyramid application, and it's structured in folders by functionality. As you can see, there is evolution to transform to do migrations, undo feature, and so on and so on. So if you need at least some subset of blown features, you can already start using it. Of course, it's 100% code coverage and so on, as we know from Chris. That's it. Thank you. Any questions? Okay.
How does it compare to Kotti?
How is it compared to Kotti? Well, it's opinionated in a way that it chooses a persistence, ZODB, and it chooses traversal, as we know. So basically the main difference is the database. Kotti uses SQL Alchemy, whatever you use with that. And it implements ZMI, which is different than Kotti, which implements kind of a Plum way. So you actually have the edit interface in the website, and ZMI is like separated. So basically you could write Plum on top of Substance D. So yeah, that's the main difference. All right, thank you. Well, the reason is because Pyramid is like our experience over the last 10 years. We've written Python API for the web framework, and it has new concepts, more clean API, and basically that's the main reason to start fresh. And Chris uses it for customers that to use the basic feature set of Plum and build on top of that. That's it. All right. One more.
What are your plans for the future for it? What do you want to expand on? The user interface, make more Plum, or is it that ready yet?
That's a question for Chris. I don't know what are his plans. So you can ask him on Twitter, like, what's the direction he's going.
When will there be a conference?
Well, soonish, I hope. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Domen. Patrick Gerken is up next, and afterwards Maurits van Rijs.
Hello, my name is Patrick Gerken, and I want to present Sentry. Sentry is an error log handler, and I hope after you have seen it in action, everybody of you wants to use it. It's a log server, and it needs a client component, Raven, and since some time it has no integration for SOAP and Plone, it's documented on the documentation for it. And can you scroll down? This is all you need for the configuration. You have to just add this code, and when you install Sentry, you get a DSN number for the project you added there, which you add at this place. I've set this up earlier this morning here for within like 10 minutes, the Sentry server, and wrote a Plone site with a bug inside. Can you go to the second tab? Here we have an error, just press reload again. This is a very slow computer, unfortunately. But you can, luckily we have the same error again, and now we look at Sentry itself. You have to reload quickly. And we see there's a new error message. We see a counter that it happened again, and it's not a new error. It would. Sorry? Can you zoom in? And it would send us an email once for this, and the fun part starts when you go into it. Can you open this? Deform template load. We get on the right side some additional information, like on which browser did it happen, on which site did it happen, and on which server did it happen. Well, too much did it. And when you scroll down, you see a stack trace like you might have seen in Pyramid already. Just scroll down a bit and click a bit around, where you have some context of the code, and you can see the local variables. Yeah, exactly. So it's quite possible to debug what's going on your production site without actually going into there and starting to debug stuff. And this is all there is about Sentry. It adds some more information in the end. You can see which user did cause this error, what's his email address and stuff. So you can contact maybe a customer who tried to buy something. And that's all there is to know. If you want to know more about it, I'm just twittering now the link to the documentation. There's just one small error, but you're all build-out experts, so you know how to fix that in the configuration. And it really takes you less than half an hour to set it up, everything, with a simple setup. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Any questions?
Does it have any performance impact, like in a way that can someone DDoS your site by creating a lot of errors, and then that would?
The error handling happens by sending an HTTP request to Sentry. So if it takes some time, your site will be slower, but Sentry is meant for handling errors only, so you will only get a delay when your actual site error happens, which a customer can see.
Keep in mind, that's not a question, keep in mind that Sentry has a hosted service that you can use, but maybe you don't want that, maybe you don't even want to use your same hosted Sentry for different customers, because the local variables, as you might know, may contain passwords. So maybe your one customer or one client has one Sentry instance that you may host for them.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Philip. GetSentry.com is the page from the Sentry Maker where you can create an account. The free account has like 50 error messages per day, so you can try out Sentry without actually installing Sentry on your server. And you should be careful about where you send the log files to, because in this stack and all the local variables there might be your passwords, and you maybe do not want to see this on a foreign server.
Does it have integration with any other things that we use in the ecosystem, like Varnish or Pyramid?
Yes, there's support for logging, for logbook, for Django, for blah, 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 many other things. There's even support for Ruby applications.
Via Initial Pyramid.
And JavaScript. Thank you that I was able to present a Django application at a PlumConf.
Hello, my name is Maurits van Rees from Zest Software. This presentation may contain traces of Dutch, because you already scared some Dutch users on the Plum User Day last Monday. I might skip a few. It says there are 5 packages, I might skip a few. First there's collective.catalog cleanup, which is something that could, for example, be handy if you are going to migrate from Plum 3 to Plum 4. Because if there are some things wrong in your portal catalog or some of the other 2 catalogs in Plum, then the migration may just fail at some point. You need to do it all over again. The best option might be to just do a catalog clear and rebuild. But that can also take a long time. And in some cases, it can help to go into the portal catalog and just remove some items. This collective catalog cleanup it has a browser view. If you just call it without any arguments, it only gives a report that may take a while to load. It's very Spartanic in how it is used. You can, at the end of the URL, add the dry run is false, and then it will actually start changing things. In this case, it found 25 branch which did not have a UID, and that will crash the Plum migration for the UID index, if I recall correctly. 100 brains had some broken status. Some more brains were not found because the get object call failed. Okay, we'll also remove those from the catalog. And some unique IDs were not actually unique, which gives other problems during the migration. So if you think, okay, if you need to clean up your catalog, then this might be a good option. And hopefully you don't need it. But we did some PyPy and GitHub. We'll skip this one. We have dexterity.membrane. With membrane, that's already in Plum 3 or 4. You can use membrane plus products.remember. In Plum to get basically members as content objects instead of the normal member items. Usually one of the reasons that can be handy to have them as content items is because you can add workflow to them, but there may be other reasons to do that. If you think, well, products.remember, that's based on archetypes and I don't want it anymore, then you can also use dexterity.membrane. That uses dexterity under the hood. There's just recently been released a PyPy. Partly I created it, David Glick created it, a few more people did some changes recently. I'm not using it in production myself, so do test it out. It may be used in the wild already. So if you look for something based on dexterity, you can use this. There's a very old package that's now available on PyPy, SMTP to SOAP, which you can use to grab some mail that comes from somewhere and point that to a Plum website or some other website. In combination with poi.receiveMail, you can set things up in an alias where, well, in this case, if a mail comes in at helpdesk@example.org, you pass that to the SMTP to SOAP script, and that pushes it onto some Plum server, a POI issue tracker there, and it will just create a new issue based on that email, or it will see, hey, this looks like a reply to a previous issue, so we'll add that as a response. Everything on PyPy. And one last thing, there's zest.comment cleanup. If you've got spammed again on your website with 5,000 comments on one item, you don't want to click each item to delete them. In this case, there are some a few simple browser views, and well, the most important thing there is that you can also say, okay, remove every content, every comment, remove this comment, and every comment that has been added after that. So that, well, the first 3 comments might be good comments. You see, okay, from the 4th till the 10th, those are all spam. Okay, just delete number 4, and every spam item that has been there added since then. So that very quickly gets rid of some nasty comments. So there's the lijstje, the list, and it's all on somewhere on PyPy or GitHub. So any questions? 3, 2, 1. There's almost a bell. I see you. Thank you.
Test. Yeah, now it works. Thank you, Maurits. So that's it for today. I have some announcements to make still. The Plum Awards are now planned on Friday at 3 o'clock. So everyone can still nominate even and vote as well on PlanAwards.com, so please do so. Another good idea which Liz had, if there's someone you know by name but you have no clue who it is and you really want to talk to them, please let us know. Come to the info desk and we'll try to get people together who only know them by name or by mailing list, for example, and they really want to meet in person. And the last thing I want to say is regarding open spaces. A lot of people asked, what are these open spaces? I thought, well, maybe a lot of people already knew. Open spaces are basically a way for everyone to get to have any subject they want to talk about, and just come up with it on the fly. So downstairs in the hangout we have a big flip chart standing over there. There's still some slots available, and you can put your name there if you want to talk about any topic you want. That's about it. Ralph will tell you a bit about the social activities for tonight, which obviously we'll have those. And my last thing I will say is that we have to leave the building at around 6, so make sure you're going where Ralph will direct you now.
Hello everyone, I'm Ralph. I'm going to tell you about the social activities for tonight. Tonight we will go to the Rijnkade, which is an area close to the Rhine, of course, the river. And there are a great set of bars, pubs and restaurants. Asian food, Italian food, steaks, everything. So the plan is basically we're going to crash the whole square with all the plumers. Look for your restaurant, book, go inside and have a dinner with friends. And it's not really coordinated with all team, but if we all are there, then we can have a great night together. On the screen is the map, how to get there. It's pretty easy actually, because it's very close to the Plum boat, so a lot of people already know, and it's a well-known area in Arnhem, so if you're lost, just ask people on the street and they can direct you, no problem at all. So, hope to see you all tonight and have great dinner. There's a question?
Can you post the map link somewhere?
Yeah, the map thing is actually on the front page of the PlumConf website. It's on the bottom of the front page.
Post it to Twitter because of bandwidth.
We will post it on Twitter in 5 minutes. We will do that. So any more questions? Okay, I hope to see you tonight. Have a great evening.